to me, it's disappointing that sometimes our politicians don't seem to be focused or appreciative of the scale of these problems, of the interplay of these different factors. One thing that your organization, American Compass, focuses on is globalization and its consequences. And that's something that I talk about in great detail on this podcast. And just to sort of encapsulate some of the factors that I think are relevant, that I'd love to hear your thoughts on, when we look at these really disappointing trends in the labor market, concerning trends in the labor market, the outflow of solid manufacturing jobs. Obviously, that was a giant sector of our economy that was truly hollowed out basically by deliberate policy for a number of different reasons, whether it was, corporations' desire to grow the markets that they could sell in China and other places, whether it was to undercut labor costs here, for a variety of reasons. But number one, the outflow of solid manufacturing jobs. I think I saw that firsthand, creating untold economic devastation where I'm from in Toledo, Ohio, as well as the sort of attendant side effects that come with that when you truly just sort of nuke a big sector of a city's economy or a state's economy, then you've got people turning to drugs, people with nothing to do, higher crime, so on and so forth, as well as its effects on the family. When men cannot really afford to support a family, they're not going to be getting married. They may be on their couch taking more marijuana, playing video games, not to sound overly simplistic, but these are sort of observable trends. Number two, this insistence that came with globalization that we would pivot sort of seamlessly and gracefully to a knowledge economy rather than a service economy, rather than a goods producing economy. I know that this is something that your organization has studied, and that not only comes with this sort of like weakened economic position in the country overall, but a alteration of the types of pathways available to American citizens who are trying to build their life, build a steady income, build a reliable way to support their families. So that's number two. Number three, I worry about trends in immigration. We've had mass high volume immigration since 1965 when Congress changed our immigration laws. And it's only become a greater tool available to policymakers to sort of distort the labor market, basically at the behest of corporate interests. You've got growing reliance on these cheap foreign guest workers across lots of sectors, whether it's tech in the quote unquote high skilled sector, whether it's agriculture, where instead of investing in more sophisticated equipment, you will have farmers or these big ag corporation entities saying, instead of investing in more sophisticated technology, they'll simply ask Congress for another, 100,000, 500,000 cheap workers from a foreign country. And that's, a lot of people will say, well, that couldn't possibly be having an effect because how many Americans are really about to go pick grapes or harvest strawberries? And the fact is, it's not just agriculture labor. It's in these other sectors too, like construction, landscaping, jobs where, in my mind, these used to be professions that employed Americans, where a person who was, 16, 17 years old could start accruing income way earlier than maybe he is now because the pathways available. That's not a job where he could earn, $15 an hour, $20 an hour as his first job to put himself through school or whatever it is. And many men now, they're delaying the period where they're even earning income to like 25, 23 years old because they're choosing a college pathway that may not even have such great returns. So I worry about all of these things. I think that to me, it's disappointing that sometimes our politicians don't seem to be focused or appreciative of the scale of these problems, of the interplay of these different factors. They're treated like distinct elements that have nothing to do with each other. And all I would like our politicians to focus on is to understand that this is, as I say, a matrix of dysfunctions where the solutions probably need to be developed in consideration of all these different factors at once.